Hi, sir. How you doing?
All right.
Nice to meet you. Mr. Riley, I have a couple questions to ask you for my career interview assignment.
Sure.
So I'm glad you gave me the time to interview in this in my future as an IT. Now, I have a couple questions I hope you can answer for me. Now, my first question is, what is your current job title, position, and how long have you been in this role?
My current title is Network Systems Administration Instructor for Westside Tech.
Okay.
I've been in the IT field for over 15 years, but I've been working as a teacher for the past 5 years.
How did you land this position?
I was working as an IT professional for Orange County Public Schools, and a friend of mine said they had a position here at Westside Tech a few years ago, and that they were looking for someone who could be able to teach the course. I was ready to transition from the IT over into teaching, so I went ahead and took that opportunity.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about your job?
Thing I enjoy most about my job is that my bosses don't know what I do, so it allows me a lot of freedom to be able to teach technology that's current, because a lot of the frameworks that they have are very vague for the state, and to have a lot of flexibility like that to be able to teach students new and upcoming technologies is really important to help them get prepared for the field that they're going to have to go into outside.
And that's very important for the students to understand that they need a good course, someone who's already in the field.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you work in a team or an independent environment? What Westside
Well,
Tech?
I'm the only network systems teacher here, but we do have a team of teachers that work for Orange County for the VOTEX, and we have some satellite high schools that we work with as well. We have Ocoee High School, and we have a program in Olympia High School.
Okay. So more like a dual enrollment kind of thing?
Exactly. And the students there, the only difference is the students only have 50, I think it's around 54 minutes in the high school classes, whereas here at VOTEX they have 2 to 3 hours sometimes.
Wow, you're limited that much. Wow.
Yes.
How does this style influence your work? Meaning, working with others can it be challenging, supportive, helpful, frustrating, and working independent can be lonely, empowering, or difficult?
I don't look at it as being difficult at all. One part of not just being in IT, but being a grown-up period, is to understand the psychology of people and understanding that everybody's different. And when you focus on what needs to get done and stop taking everything personally, what people say, what people do, and just concentrate on what needs to get done, it makes things a lot easier for you. Because too many people get caught up in, oh, so-and-so said something to me and such and such. I don't care about any of that stuff. What needs to get done? If we need to run cables, let's run the cables. If you want to run it a certain way, I don't care. My bottom line is, let's get the cables running.
As long as the job is done.
As long as the job is done, you can do it whatever way you want to. As long as you work with me, I work with you. So one of the things you got to understand about working with other people is getting your ego out of it. Now, I'm not to say that if somebody comes up with something that's totally stupid and it's going to cost more time, that's something different. But you got to pick your fights and keep your own personal ego out of a lot of the situations, because people will, there are certain types of personalities that just want to be in charge. They want to feel like they're doing stuff. So if that's what you want to do. You want to go ahead and do it.
Just want to burst your ego so the job's done.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do you like least about your job?
Paperwork.
I think I can vouch for that one too.
Paperwork is the worst enemy, especially for teachers, because we have so many different things we have to do. Paperwork wise, it's just so much, and all of that paperwork added on to what we already do with lesson plans and research. Because my job isn't just, I'm not like, like a hair, massage therapy or hairdresser or something like that, where that field doesn't change very much over the years. Mine changes every 6 months. So I have to keep up on things. I have to go to CNET and research, just like I told you guys. If you're going to be a good IT person, you got to research every day. You got to spend at least an hour researching every day. Because if you don't, you're going to get behind. And on top of that, writing lesson plans, doing grades, keeping up with student progress, answering questions, making tests, coming up with stuff to put up on the boards and all this kind of stuff. And then on top of that, I got to do deliberate practice, and I got to do evaluations and all of that kind of stuff. That's a lot of stuff, a lot of paperwork to get done.
Well, I mean, that's what it takes to become an IT, I'm guessing. Like, you have to get the good and the bad, I'm guessing.
Right.
So, well, what was your major in college? Like,
I majored in network systems administration. It was a new degree that DeVry University was offering.
Brain speaking? Like, they just thought of it, like, okay.
Yeah, well, they saw a need because they saw that there was this, what DeVry does is they look at the industry and they see exactly how many people are in a particular industry, and they see what the need is. Okay. And they saw that there was very few people that knew anything about telecommunications and network systems. Okay. So what they did is they designed a course specifically for that, and they made that a degree for us.
What year was that?
That's back in 2003. I started.
Oh. I'm thinking it was longer than that. That's interesting.
Right.
All right. Well, my career path is to become an IT. I guess where I need to start is getting the A+ certification. Correct.
Right.
So to get in the job field like that, it seems like it's mandatory to have that. I can try. What I was told, I can probably go advanced and get the Network Plus or security, but I'm not sure. I mean, probably some spots will have it, but I'm guessing they want the basic as the A+, to where I'll have that and get credit for it, and then go ahead and get my degree and
AS. It just depends on what you want to do. If you're interested in a networking portion, then the A+ is really not going to be much of a stepping stone for you. If you want to get into networking, you're more than likely going to study for your Network Plus or your Security Plus or something like that.
So if I'm in more the hardware, I guess because I like hands-on,
right?
I'm more.
You want your A+.
Okay. So you wouldn't suggest security or network if I'm not really into the network? If
you're not going to be willing to stretch out into that, I would probably stick to the A+, because the Networking Plus is going to take you into another level of computer systems and actually explains how the different pieces and parts connect and the different types of traffic that you're going to see over a network. And dealing with that is going to be a little bit different level than the A+, where it's mainly just pieces, parts, components, and troubleshooting theory.
Okay. What about, like, I was interested in SQL servers or, like, programming. Now, I probably later on, after learning programming, I don't know, maybe make something for the world later on, or help become with a business to make something worthwhile. So my view in IT is to make something amazing to where it benefits versus it struggles. So, well, I guess the question is, will a master's degree be required for what I want? Because I'm going high. I may even want a doctorate because I see technology going to be advanced so high that I want to be a big part of it.
If you really want to look at IT seriously now, the big thing to be looking at is cybersecurity. That is the big area that's going to be opening up for a lot of Americans. Because look at it like this. If I'm an American company and we're worried about getting hacked, am I going to hire a foreign person for cybersecurity?
Probably not.
I want to hire somebody who has a vested interest in the country. So I want to hire somebody American for that type of position, more than likely. So cybersecurity is going to be huge. It's a big field. It's wide open right now. And having those type of professionals on staff is going to be really important.
Now, is that from one of the, I guess, like Marines or Navy or Air Force kind of thing?
Not even really that. Regular companies are going to need it. Look how many companies have been hacked. How many banks have been hacked?
So here's my question for the programmers. Now, if you're being hacked that much, that means your programs is easily accessible to where the hackers...
Not easily.
Well,
the hackers, the stuff that they're doing now is not easy stuff. They're finding vulnerabilities. They're finding different avenues to get in that are not necessarily easy. They just know what they're doing.
So here's the question. Hire those kind of people. Make the programs. How about test them out and seeing, okay, I made this program. Now I want you to hack into it and you tell them how vulnerable it is. And then basically after the program seeing how easy he hacked it or he worked to hacking it, he can see to where he can upgrade the program to tighten it. But you're saying it's still possible for the person to get through that easily.
Not easily.
Not easily, but I mean,
it's
efficient.
possible.
Huh.
Because look at it like this. Recently, there was a big company that got hacked.
I know a while ago, Microsoft, or was it Microsoft or Sony? It was Sony. Sony got hacked. Now, I would think because the software was free of internet and the gamers, they had no way of really, securing its own free network because it was free. You could just get in, play, and call it a day. And then you had the load time where knowing it's free, everybody's going to be on it versus Xbox, you have to pay to get in. So I can see where the security lied in that. You pay for security from the start. Now Sony with PS4s, but now I'm smart in seeing that I'm going to secure my own site. They left PS3 alone and where PS4 has more security. Now, why wouldn't they do that from the start? I understand it's free, but you got to think about it. That's horrible to get hacked, period.
Right.
I'm sure they found a guy and punished him severely, but that's a lot of information they got right there.
Well, the thing is with companies, they're going to do what? They're going to spend the least amount of money for what they have to do. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Correct.
So they're looking at this as a money thing. If we can get away, just like Bright House. Bright House will sit here and lie to you and say, yeah, we're going to get you 90 megabits per second. I don't know anyone who's ever got 90 megabits per second from Bright House connection. Now, they may test it at 90 megabits per second to a Bright House server, but nobody really gets 90 megabits. You get up to 90 megabits per second, they're telling you on these connections. It's no incentive for Bright House to fix their network to actually meet the requirements of the customers that they're paying for.
So it's a profit thing. The more you pay, the more legit the service you get.
Well, you get bumped up higher in the queue. Because it's just like any other type of network connection. You have a hierarchy there. If I pay more money, my connections are going to be more, they're going to be bumped up higher in the queue than anybody else's.
So let me throw an example. So more of a high-class neighborhood, like something like Owlsworth, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If they're paying more of a good, efficient money for browsers, say, hey, I'm paying for the best. So I'm paying twice as much for an efficient. So when you say 90, I am expecting that, not up to. So versus a poor where they'll get that, they'll hit the right amount, but they're not getting that. Is that kind of the point I'm getting?
Not really. Because you got to look at a couple things when you're talking about Bright House. You got to look at neighborhood saturation, which is the number of homes with that service in your neighborhood.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter if you're paying more money. If they say 90 megabits, up to 90 megabits, and you've got 1,000 people in your neighborhood, it doesn't matter. You're splitting that one. You're still splitting that one signal up among 1,000 people. So it really doesn't matter how much money they're paying. Now, if they do have a customer who says, if you're saying I want this, then I want this number of of megabits per second, then they probably won't tell them the high end. They'll probably give them a lower one. They'll say, we can guarantee this. You see what I'm saying? They won't guarantee the highest end, but they will guarantee this lower end to someone who's paying more money if they push the issue. But usually once you sign that contract, the issue's over with.
Oh, okay. That's a done deal right there.
Yeah, because once you sign off, you're saying, well, yeah, I'd get up to this deal. And that's why most of them have stopped doing contracts altogether. They don't do contracts anymore because they know that if you have a contract, then they're expected to hold up a certain end and you're expected to hold up a certain end. So most of these companies now, they don't do contracts because they don't want you really holding them to any kind of standard.
Liable for their own word.
Right.
Oh, well, monkey see, monkey do. I mean, don't say you can't do one thing if you're not going to do it. Well, I see that. Well, sir, I really appreciate you talking to me today.
No problem, no problem, no problem, no problem.